business happens in ebbs and flows. Like if you want to have an employee mindset and think that business is going to be the same amount of money every single week, like that's crazy.
Then just go back to your 9 to 5.
Yeah, you may as well just stay in a 9 to 5.
Do you think triggering people is necessary for change then?
I don't think triggering them is anything that I can do. And I'll explain it to you.
Yes.
You know the vibe. All spice, no sugar. Let's get into it.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. And today we have a particular person who has had a huge impact in my life, but not only my life. Apparently, over 500,000 people have been impacted by this woman. So I'm so excited to welcome her onto the podcast today. This beautiful soul has activated me into opening up the entire timeline that is now Kenny the creator. She really was the person who instigated the cracking of my own blueprint, of my own mind. The opening of my fucking mind began with this human.
Aww.
She is the literally though. It's crazy. I still remember like the very first moment that I saw you and I was just like, holy fuck, who is this woman? Like, I need to have a chat with her. And I want to share the story of like how that evolved throughout the podcast because it's so funny looking back on it now that I had no fucking idea what you were doing. But like now I see all the threads. So I'll share that in just a moment. But this person, she's the visionary and founder of EAWTC. She's transforming the way women experience life. Well, I say women, but people. Yeah. Women just rolls off the tongue for me.
It's largely women, and the men come as a result of the women being there. Yeah,
absolutely. Just changing people's lives. Just changing the fucking world, to be honest. Yeah.
That's the plan.
She is Australia's top NLP trainer. She's shared stages with Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, and Robert Kiyosaki. She's had over 25 years of experience and has developed the life-changing emotional change technique, also known as ECT, who I believe my cohort that did NLP was the first round.
That's right.
That actually learned that, which is wild. Wow. And last year launched a new course or business
coaching container
and hit $1 million in 200 days. That is iconic. So I'm so excited to welcome the amazing, polarizing, unapologetic Elizabeth Ann Walker to the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast.
Aw, thanks, Candy. How different is it being here? This is fucking wild. I'm like, from where you were back then to where you are now, I'm so fucking proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I think, you know, listening to you talk about me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I've done that. Oh, yeah, I've done that. And I think that life becomes just your own normal, right? Your own version of normal. And so when you hear it all, it's like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. I have also shared a stage with Elon Musk, which is also cool.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So there's lots of things that happen in my world that I perhaps forget to share on social media.
And it's so, like, when you're so, like, deep in it, like, even you, when I sat down and you're like, wow, like, it's been 18 months since we've talked and you were literally just a baby just beginning your business. And now you're questioning me about why I haven't hit
$1 million yet.
You're like, what? Why?
By the way, she's only that far away from it.
We're so close. So close. 27 and 7 figures. That's the mantra I'm going because it's my birthday in 2 weeks.
That's a whole nother year away. What are you talking about?
Well, I turned 27 in 2 weeks, and then
okay.
And then that's
I thought you meant 2027. I'm like, what? No, it's not going to take that long.
No. 27.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so interesting because, like I was saying just before, when I first met you, I was obviously nursing at the time, and I remember you sharing your story about how you were a nurse.
Yeah.
And your your journey. That like hit my soul. And it's so interesting because sometimes we neglect to acknowledge how our story, because we're so used to sharing it, is so impactful for so many people. And I feel like when, like you were saying before, like when you're so in on what you do, then when you're sharing your story, you don't even know who's listening.
Yeah.
But you're literally changing their life. And you did that for me.
I feel like
about 4 years ago.
I feel like the only way to change someone's life is through storytelling. And I think that that's something that you do really well. I think it's something I do really well. And I think it's something that all successful people do really well is
Absolutely.
grasp a story and make it so effortless that it impacts. I think when people try to create a story, it becomes this convoluted thing. And when it's just the natural story that happened and your ability to speak in a way that hits someone's heart, it's like it's the only way to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more evident too, especially with the rise of like ChatGPT and like AI. It's like the true leaders are the people who can anchor into their story and leverage their story, not from a place of here's my story, you need to listen to it and learn from it, but like this is just my story. And I'm so convicted in guiding people towards unlocking their story as well.
Absolutely.
It's so cool.
Love it.
So I want to go back to like the first time that I saw you, because it's like I'm just giggling in my mind, just like thinking of all the memories. And it's so
I'm like, what is going to come out here?
So innocent. Yeah, I know. You know, there's probably going to be so many things that potentially will come out. And I'm like, oh, this is what I was thinking at the time. This is great. Yeah, it's just so perfect. Because it's like we've never really had this conversation, or never really had the opportunity to even, for me to even express what I went through, because one, I didn't have the conscious awareness to realize what was happening, and two, it's like hindsight's a beautiful thing. And well, anyway, here we are now. So a few years ago, I went to a little community called Coffee and Consciousness.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it started there.
It started there. Yeah. Throwback. And I remember you speaking and I was like, whoa, just your energy. I was like, who is this woman? And then I remember coming up to you afterwards and I was like, thank you so much for sharing your story. Yeah. And I don't even remember what you said afterwards, but then shortly after you had messaged me. It's just so funny because I was just like, I had no fucking idea what you were doing. But you're just like, lead.
Yeah. It was like, she liked my story, I can sell her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, yes, let's catch up. Like, let's get on a call. I was like, she wants to get on a call with me? I know. Absurd.
This is great.
This is hilarious. And then, anyway, you ended up calling me. And you're talking about NLP, and I had no idea what the fuck NLP was. No, I still didn't know what it was until I got in the room. Yeah. I still didn't even understand it. I was just like, I just know I need to go to this thing. And I had no intention of getting a certificate or being a fucking coach or any of that shit. I was just like, universe,
help me.
Universe was like, go to this thing. And I was like, I guess so. I remember being on the call with you and distinctly sharing with you like my feeling and knowing that I was meant for more, that I just started nursing and I felt like, okay, I'm literally replaying it in my mind.
I remember the call.
So visual. I was in my home, like I had just separated from my long-term partner, just started nursing. I was living in this like shitty little house in Mullendina, like working at double time, overtime, had 2 jobs. Like,
and just the people that were working with you were not nice. And there was a whole lot of political drama going on in the hospital at the time. And I was like,
oh yeah, this was like pre-COVID too. Yeah. So it was like pretty hectic. And then you sold me into Prac. Yeah. I remember the investment and I was like, what the fuck? Like, she's asking for money on this phone call? I was so confused. I was like, I thought she just wanted to talk to me.
She just wants to be my friend.
Yeah.
Actually, I do want to be everyone's friend.
And also to make money and change people's lives, you know. And then you sold me, of course. And I remember I had to leave, I think, to go to my nursing shift. Yeah. And you were literally closing me as I'm walking down the driveway. And you said, congratulations. Yeah. And for some reason, that has just stuck in my mind, to have celebrated having made the most scary fucking decision of my life, one that I didn't tell my parents or my friends about because I was so in shame about the investment that I was worried I was so in fear of judgment of what other people would think of me for having invested in my own personal development.
It's wild, right?
Wild.
And yet I remember having the exact same experience when I first made my investment. It was like, how on earth can I spend this amount of money on me? And for me, it was only $899.
Yeah, well, I can't even remember what
it would have been like 3,000.
Okay,
then. Yeah. So it like, imagine if you didn't do that though. This is the thing that I love to do is when you've come so far along the timeline of self-worth, looking back and going, that pivotal moment where I actually first spent money on me, imagine if I hadn't have done that, how many lives would not have been impacted? How many people would still be in a terrible job, hating their life, living in a shitty house, like not actually recognizing that life gets to be so different from what, as nurses, we were both told it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, if you run that timeline, it's scary. Like it's actually scary to even go back and go, imagine if I didn't do that.
Yes.
Like those pivotal moments where you invest in yourself is so much more than the investment you make. It's so much more than whatever it is you invest in. Even if what you invest in is not even the greatest thing in the world, it's still a pivotal moment in your life where you get to go, I actually went all in on myself. I actually made a decision to say, hey, you're worth it and you're going to do this thing and make the most of it, whatever it is.
And like you said, with that first investment, it's the scariest thing. It's like, wow, that first investment of $3,000, even for you, like $800, it's like, you know, I've dropped like $55,000 for 6 months on one person.
Yeah.
And that's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that that first initial investment of $3,000 rocked my fucking world, to then the compounding effect to then get to a point where you're investing multi-five figures in one person and just being like, oh yeah. Okay, whatevs.
Yeah. And where I'm at, like I invest 6 figures every year, and I find an expert that, well, I use the word expert loosely because experts usually are has-beens. They've known how to do it in the past, whereas you actually want someone who's growing and evolving. So I generally find someone who has looked at experts and they're growing the new evolving thing, and I invest my money there. And that grows and changes our business in phenomenal ways every year.
Yes, always. Yeah. And I love this chat because right now the investment side of things, and it's like the time delay of the $1 million, right, is coming because we're investing in that capacity. And it's just like, I think it's absurd that like my recurring expenses is like multi-5 figures. And it's like, how the fuck did I get to this point that my expenses are almost more than what I would make in 6 months of nursing on a monthly basis? And it's so wild and absurd to even know that by making that one decision a few years ago to start to unravel my own subconscious mind and then pave the way forward for myself has then compounded and snowballed in a positive way into now being here. And it's like the journey ebbs and flows, because it's like I feel connected to that past version of me a few years ago when she was like, how the fuck am I going to make this work? And it's like, oh baby girl, you do. And then also you get, I don't know if you've experienced this, but this is just my current experience. I'm just like, I'm here now being like, how the fuck are we going to make this work?
Oh, look, that's just business.
Yeah.
Business happens in ebbs and flows. Like if you want to have an employee mindset and think that business is going to be the same amount of money every single week, like that's crazy.
Then just go back to your 9 to 5.
Yeah, you may as well just stay in a 9 to 5, because if you can't handle a little bit of ebb and flow, well, what are you even doing? Like, are you even living? Like the moon ebbs and flows, the tide ebbs and flows. Everywhere around us, naturally, things ebb and flow, and business is no different. And I think the thing with business is that you'll always be called forward to invest more on your lowest cash flow months, right? The lowest cash flow that you have for the year will be the time at which an opportunity presents itself where you have to go, huh, okay, we're going again.
Yes.
And it takes a few years for that to settle down. It takes a few years for it to equalize to the point where you go, oh, okay, I know that we're going to be sweet. It might not feel like it right now, and it's all going to be great. I mean, when you say about those investments, like I charge to work with me now more than what I made in my first 3 years of nursing. Like, so my yearly wage on those first 3 years, I charge more for someone to work with me for 6 months now.
Yeah. I love that. Yes. With the evolution of that investment piece too, it's interesting to me how you have to be fully committed to move through the fucking unknown and the identity deaths.
Oh,
Because if you're not, then stay in the 9 to 5. Because I feel as entrepreneurs, like, you have to be willing to come face to face with those parts of you that want to stay in conformity, in comfortability.
yeah.
And I'm curious to know your opinion of, do you think some people are cut out for it and others aren't?
I think that some people go to personal development or business development events with an idea that they're going to get a list of how to do it. And I think that some people invest in places that tell them they're going to get a list of how to do it. And I know you don't do this and we don't do this. But if you're going to go pay someone who says, I will do this and this and this and show you how to do this and this and this in a tick box list, please don't invest with them.
Please.
Stay away,
Yes.
right? Because it is about who you become on the way, right? It's you're staring down that tunnel of, can I do this? And you take a step forward anyway. It's the idea of, like, I liken it to a bit of a game, like a I don't know what they're called, like one of these games, game box game, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like you have to actually take the step before the stepping stone's there, so that you land on it at the right time, and you
yes.
create it
Great
in the
visual.
space between where you are and where you're going. Like, it's not created where you are now, because your identity now doesn't have the foresight, the growth, the expansion to be able to create it. So you have to actually take the step and create it on the way, because that's when you're in the expansive zone. And we kind of talk about it in NLP, like, here you are in your box, and your box has values, it has boundaries, it has all of the limitations of that particular box. So we need to move into the next box, but there's a space in between, right? And it's not like we're ever without a box. We always have an identity. We always have those boundaries around us. We always have some kind of limit at which we're not willing to go past that or willing to go through that, and until we're ready. And so you're in that little box and it's quite dark, and you open the lid and you go, oh look, maybe I could be an entrepreneur. And so maybe you could and maybe you can't, because there is a certain tenacity and drive that's required.
Yes.
Right? It's not like getting up and going to your 9 to 5 where you just get up and then when you get home you do nothing. Like, every entrepreneur talks about, you know, doing what they love, and it's because we do what we love that we don't really stop working. Right? Like, you'll find me working at 5 a.m, you'll find me working at midnight, and maybe I'll sleep, maybe I won't. And I love every minute of it.
Yeah.
And equally, I know how to rest in rest periods. And I think that's the thing, is people expect that they get into this cadence, right, of, okay, we go to work and we come home. We have weekends doing nothing. And they get that cadence. And so when they first become an entrepreneur, it's like, hey, my cadence is all messed up. And I think you go running, right? And it's like, if your cadence is messed up in running, you're going to be tripping over, you're going to get sore ligaments, you're going to get sore muscles. It's not going to work. And this is the thing, is you have to have the tenacity to slow down, to speed up. So they want to be an entrepreneur and they want to do it now. That's great. There's a few things you have to learn. You have to learn tenacity, you have to learn drive, and you have to learn consistency is the biggest one.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to know, like, what is your perspective on the hustle culture versus the rise of the feminine flow culture?
Yeah, this is really interesting, right? So, because I like both.
So, yeah.
And I think the key thing is, how can you move, like, if you imagine a paradox, like a figure of 8 going this way, an infinity symbol, right? You need to be able to move from hustle into flow, back into hustle, back into flow. And just like the moon, just like the tides, just like everything in nature, there is a time for growth, a time for slowdown. There are seasons, like all these things happen in business too. And if you look at a plant in springtime, it's going wild. It's hustling hard.
The plant is hustling.
It is. It's like growing new leaves. It's growing flowers. It's like, it's going for it. And
whenever I look at my plants now, I'll be like, you're hustling, girl.
Yeah.
Get it.
That's it. And then when it comes to autumn, they're losing their leaves. It's a slowdown period.
Yes.
And these seasons happen at a different rate for all of us, right? So some people will have a spring and summer for this long, long period of time, and then they'll go through a winter every 5 years. Some people go through a winter every month.
Fuck, I feel like I talk about summers and winters in business, and I feel like my winters are like blizzarding, and literally, and they're like fucking a quarter of the year, and then I'll have a summer, and it'll be like ping for a week, and then we're fucking back in the blizzard.
And I think that happens for a little while, and then you work out that the blizzard is actually this really cozy time where you can cuddle up to the fire and actually really enjoy life. And so with hustle and flow, I work my ass off and I love it. And when I turn off, I don't turn off fully because I don't want to. I actually love still doing stuff. So if I go on a holiday, I do more social media on my own than when I'm actually at home. When I'm at home, my social media manager helps me with most of it. When I go on holiday, it's me because I'm like, oh, I'm having fun again.
Fun.
And I actually love social media.
Yeah.
So, and equally, I will not manage any of the drama stuff. Like that gets managed by my team. I'm pretty much out of that on the day-to-day anyway.
What do you mean specifically by drama?
Like if there's someone who doesn't want to pay. Like,
oh, right.
You know,
yeah,
I don't want to deal with any of that when I'm on
fuck
holidays and like, who cares? If they don't want to pay, see you later.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And sometimes they might just need a bit of extra support. So I love to hustle. I enjoy the flow and I think that they can be harmonious. And I don't think one way is better than the other. I think that the rise of the feminine flow only movement is damaging to women because I think it doesn't allow them to reach their full potential. And equally, I think the hustle culture where it's only hustle is damaging because it makes women men.
Yeah.
And we're different.
It's that masculine and feminine polarity. There requires to be that integration in the embodiment of both for evolution. And I think it's
that's what the divine feminine and masculine is. It's the ability to hold both, right?
Yeah.
It's not the divine masculine isn't just masculine. He's feminine too. The divine feminine is masculine and feminine. And if we look at this from an NLP frame, for example, and a success frame, it's actually the language that's used at that level creates your reality. Right? You're speaking your reality into existence with every word that you say. And so if you're there going, I don't want to hustle, well, guess what? The money's not going to hustle to you. And if you're saying, I don't want to be in flow or I want it, if you're saying, I just want everything to flow, well, that's great. I would love to just be able to go, and have the money fall in my lap too.
Thank you, universe. I'm now open to receiving. Cha-ching!
Yeah, like manifest, go. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing is like my mentality is delusionally manifest and work for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You create the manifestation menu is what I like to call it, right? Create a manifestation menu. This is what I want. And then how much am I willing to work to be able to embody that identity?
Yes.
Because lots of people want $1 million business and they haven't thought about the $1 million problems or the challenges that happen at that level or how many team you have to manage.
Yes.
Or, there's just other challenges, right?
Yes,
and so it's like
things that you don't foresee until you're in it, but then they're happening for you to then put the systems in place to actually then help you build the foundations to take that next step. And this is where I think like the energetics and the strategy thing comes into play, because this is something that I like to talk about all the time is energetics first, then strategy.
Yeah.
And that's like my opinion is
Absolutely.
because you have to be the identity, you have to energetically create your reality from the future, take action from the future, and then your systems have no other option to catch up because you're moving. But if you do it the other way around, you can fucking sit in the back end and do the systems and wait around for fucking heyday. But
the first time we did $1 million a month, I remember it was during a training and I remember laying on the floor at the end of the training and just going, I don't know what to do. And everyone's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, there's money everywhere and I don't know where any of it's come from. I don't know who it belongs to. I don't know who's signed up for what. It's just this insane amount of money everywhere. And I don't even know who we need to manage this. Like, we need people, but what people? I don't know what people, like, I have no idea what people I need. And I think if I had have done it the other way where I built the people first, I never would have hit that.
no.
Like,
So you're telling me you hit your first million and then you're like, oh, fuck, I don't actually know how to
no, not my first
manage
million,
this.
my first million month.
All right, $1 million month.
Yeah.
Still.
And
$1 million
there
month.
was literally money everywhere. And it was like, I don't have a CFO. I don't even think I have a system that can count that much money. Like there's cash out the back. There's Stripe payments over here. There's money in the bank.
Yeah,
No,
bank
nothing's been
transfers.
labeled in any kind of naming convention. It's like, I don't know what it is for.
Fucking
Like,
chaos.
can we just ring this person and find out what did they pay that $5,000 for? Because I'm not sure. Like, it was
Wow.
nuts. And
I love
a lot of
this.
people, like when they first start business, and I know that you, like there are definitely people in your world and my world that are really early on in their journey as well as really far along in their journey that, and those early on people are like, but how do I do it? It's like, it doesn't matter, just do this.
Yeah.
Like, it
Don't
doesn't matter
fucking
how
worry
you do
about
it,
the
just
how.
go and do this.
Yeah.
And that trust piece, which I think both you and I had at the beginning of our journey, it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to trust that this person who's done it before has said do it this way, so I'm just going to go do it. And that's the thing, it's trusting without knowing the process. People get bogged down in the process. Just
Yes.
trust it and do the work, be consistent and have the flow time that you need in order to actually rejuvenate and then keep going.
Absolutely. It's so interesting. Like when I think back to being in the NLP room, actually side quest.
Yeah.
Can you explain your understanding, perspective and terminology of what NLP is?
Yeah, great. So N, neuro,
Mm.
the brain, the nervous system. L, linguistics, the words that you use in here as well as out loud. And programming, the programs that you've accepted as being true, basically beliefs.
Mm.
Yeah.
Great.
And so what do we do in it? We disconnect the old programs that no longer serve the identity that you now wish to create.
Simple.
We
Yeah.
create enough friction that you can activate success.
Oh, yes.
Because without friction, there is no success. People want this nice flowy, like, I can just jump from this box into the new box without any effort. It doesn't happen. You actually need friction to change. You need resistance. I was listening to a podcast with, why have I forgotten his name? Diary of a CEO podcast with Matthew McConaughey the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And one of
How
his
great.
things was resistance. Without resistance, you go nowhere.
Yes.
There needs to be a level of resistance so that you push back against it and see what's possible beyond the boundary, right? And that's exactly what we say. We say we create the friction to activate the identity of success.
So I want to go back to a moment when I was in the NLP room and we're doing values levels. And I remember you said to me, and I got so pissed off. I got so pissed because my brain is always like, I am like the high achiever, always winning, always wanting to be the best. And I remember you said to me, I think we did the values levels and I was like a 3-4 transition.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, like it'll come eventually. And that's all you said to me. And I was like, fuck you. I was like, I want more praise than that.
Yeah.
And I want to be more seen and I want to be more like believed in. And
Because
I
you were
was-
pedestaling the shit out of me back then. Everyone was. And it's like, you know, I think that the people who are most successful are the people who actually want the acknowledgement, right? Because that's actually what drives success in the beginning. So you wanted
significance.
acknowledgement back then. And if someone is going to be successful, it's like, how do you move them from the frame of them wanting your acknowledgement to actually going and getting it for themselves? Because one of the true things in coaching is you can lead a horse to water. You cannot make it drink. And if you try to force it to drink, it'll actually go the other way. And so it's like, how can I give you just enough that you'll do it yourself?
So how do you hold that resistance, that friction with others? Because I know that you hold, and now having run my own rooms and facilitating my own rooms, I now see you in a whole different light in your ability to hold tension.
Yeah.
And I've seen you really trigger the fuck out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Myself included. But also I've seen you, just hold this level of tension that creates a lot of talk.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know like how you actually hold that.
The external talk
Yeah.
coming towards me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing is that if you never create tension, or not create it, it's already there, right? If you don't learn to hold the tension in a room, then no one actually moves. They just sit there and they'll have a great time and then they'll leave and do nothing,
Mm.
right? You have to actually show them what's available to them. So you've got to push them to their lower limit and push them to their upper limit and go, right now you're here, which way are you going to go? Because you get to choose. And I think that the external talk about me is largely from people who never actually got to know me. Because as much as I can hold the tension, I can hold the depth in love. And most people get to experience that, but not everyone gets to experience that. And that all depends on how much they're willing to come towards me. Because that tension is actually the bit that makes them go, oh, I can do it. And even if that tension is, I hate her so much, I'm going to do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just do the thing. Whichever way
Yeah.
you need to think about me to go and do it, I don't care.
And
That's
is
not
that
me.
something
That's the
that you've
higher
had
mission.
to like work through? In like,
oh look, when it was death threats,
yeah,
that was pretty hectic.
Yeah, it's just like
Like-
there's been so many projections, and people would project on you all the fucking time, and like talk so much shit essentially, and you know it's like.
So someone said to me,
moved through that mentally.
yeah, someone said to me very early on, if people are talking about you, it's advertising, and it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, your name's still being mentioned. So that was how I got through the first lot. When it got to death threat level and I'm going to come and kill your kids and that kind of stuff.
Is that coming from people that have been in your room or just like?
No, people who knew people in our room. So for a little while I was labelled the, what did they used to call me? The husband annihilator. Because women would come to the room, get empowered, realize their relationships were terrible and leave.
Oh, that was me. Not husband, but I was
Boyfriend,
dating I was dating a man at the time, and I remember I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
You were like talking to someone else and trying to get them to leave their separate from their
suggesting
partner.
that it might be a great idea for them.
Yeah. And you're like going hard as you do. And I'm sitting at the back of the room just like slouching into my chair being like, fuck, I've got to go and do this thing. And I literally stand up, walk out of the room,
And made the call.
made the call, ended it, walked back in and sat down. And then I remember B, who was my breakthrough partner, was just like, and I started crying. And she looked at me, she's like, are you okay? I was like, oh yeah, I just made the phone call and broke up with my partner. And she's like, what the fuck?
Because when do you take action? Now.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm fucking the one successful, and yeah. This is why
And that's the
here.
thing. So I think that when that was happening, there was just a bit of nastiness. The death threat came from a husband whose wife had left.
Yeah, okay. That makes
And it was kind of like, okay, cool. And it got to the level of needing the police to be involved. So that was a bit hectic, but that was more a fear-based response rather than a hurt my heart response. I think the best thing with time and longevity in business is that everyone says thank you eventually. Like, and they may have, like, there are some people who have said nasty stuff, especially on social media, about who I am, what I do, mainly how I sell. Like, that's the biggest criticism is she took my money. It's like, cool. And look how much money you make now. Was it worth it? Yes. Like, if you look back at what you invested, which I think from memory was around the, $8,000-$9,000 mark by the time you'd finished with it's like, cool. Was it worth it to do the months you're doing now?
Of course.
Like, and it's always worth it. And people always eventually ring up and go, oh my God, I didn't get it at the time. I thought you were so mean. I didn't understand why afterwards you didn't really talk to me that much. Like, why were you so mean to me? Why did you pick on me so much? Why did you tell me what I had to do? But I'm really grateful for it now. Thank you so much. I'm successful. I just did my first this. I just bought my first house. I just created a successful business. Like, and it can be years later.
Yeah.
Like, we're coming up to our 7th or 8th year in business now. And it's like, for the training company. And it's like, so many people in the last month have messaged going, I'm so grateful for you. I'd never got it. I don't get it. And the thing is until you walk in someone's shoes, you don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
So until you've run a room, you don't realize sometimes how dumb some people are. And what what I mean by that is they sit there and you tell them the answer and you tell them the answer and you tell them the answer. And then they ask the question again. It's like, I've already told you the answer. And they just don't like the answer. It's like, okay, cool. If you don't like that answer, let me show you this answer because this is the alternative. And you possibly don't go down that line. But with me in mindset, it's like, here's how you can do it this way. Be positive, get to this result. And if you don't, here's the picture of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Choose your heart.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the direct nature of the way that I teach is it lends itself to people having a go. And I think that the longevity and the success of our business proves to people, whether they want to admit it or not, that we're doing something powerful and good. You don't get to stay in business in this arena for this long, making multi-millions for over 5 years now. We've been in the multi-million dollar range every year. You don't get to do that by taking advantage of people.
Has there ever been a time where you felt as if you questioned like your directness?
Oh yeah.
And being like, fuck, am I doing it? Am I too hard?
Yeah.
Like, am I too fucked?
Yeah. I think if you came back now, you'd find that it's quite different.
Yeah. I have actually heard that. I have heard that you've softened in the selling process.
It's not so much the selling. I think that's
but
where
just the general nature.
I think the sales nature of a business is, if you don't want to sell, get out of business.
Yeah.
Like, and when you start traveling the world and going to events overseas, the way I sell is soft as. Like, even if you go back to when I was hard in sales, it was still soft compared to stuff that happens in the States or the UK or Dubai, right? And we're very protective in Australia. Like, there's this little, it's like this tiny little bubble where I don't know. It's weird.
Tall poppy syndrome.
It's tall poppy syndrome, right?
Little bubble, and we're all just like bouncing around.
And yet when I look around, particularly the Gold Coast, and look at the people who are actually doing well, every single one of them has come through my room. Or I've had a hand in getting them on or into something prior to having my room. And it's like, you go talk shit about me because you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for me. And not that I did anything. Like, all I am is a street directory.
Yeah.
Like, for those of you that don't understand that, Google Maps. Okay. Because I know there's some, you're a bit younger than me. So there's people who don't know what a street directory is. Yeah. So Google Maps, I'm just Google Maps. I just show people the way. And if they want to go that way, cool. If they don't, they don't. And maybe later they'll open the street directory again.
Yes. Because I know that, like, I came in, did NLP, did prac, did master prac, kind of didn't really fucking do anything for a while. Yeah. And then
you had those cute little
I did those
astrology
little frames. Yeah,
they were so cute.
They were cute. I still have them in my apartment now, and it's just like a nice little
They're really pretty. I remember I was talking to Katie Walker yesterday actually, and I'm like, do you remember she used to do those cute little frames?
Yeah,
they were really sweet.
They were so cute because when I moved into my apartment a few months ago, I got them out. I had everything removed out of storage, and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful for me to actually have on my walls as like a memory, because I've got like my nursing degree, then I've got my little frames, and I'm like, no.
It's like first business. Like, it was actually great. It was a great idea at the time.
Yeah, it was a great idea at the time. At least I was doing something.
Exactly.
Yeah. How selling little frames to now running events around Australia.
It's great.
Wild. Great. So I wanted to know, do you think triggering people is necessary for change then?
I don't think triggering them is anything that I can do. And I'll explain it to you.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have a gun, because that's where the word trigger comes from, right? A gun with a trigger, and there's no ammunition, nothing happens when you pull the trigger. The only way that you can trigger someone is if they have ammunition inside them. And if they have ammunition inside them, then it's probably useful that they clear that out. So sometimes I will say something that will trigger someone, but it's not me triggering them, it's their ammunition going off that creates the problem. Yeah.
I love that.
So yes, I believe there needs to be friction, which is what a trigger does, right? It creates friction inside the bullet comes out the gun. I believe there needs to be friction because you don't change with no movement. So one of the things that Tony Robbins, speaker coach, used to say, so the guy that trained Tony Robbins to speak, he used to say you have to agitate, not irritate. And I definitely think that in the past, maybe like 5-6 years ago, I was definitely irritating sometimes rather than agitating. I lend myself more to the agitation phase now. And that's just growth in personal, in personal self, right? It's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm great at finding the problem quickly, and that can sometimes irritate people. So if I can agitate them to find the problem themselves, then it's a little bit better. However, I don't think that there's any change without friction. And so the overall answer is yes, you have to trigger people for them to change.
Yeah. Great. And then with the selling piece, because like we were saying earlier, it's like your hard selling a few years ago when I was in the room, you would consider soft selling and the evolution of
I don't think it was hard. I think that where people find hard selling hard is when they meet the resistance of investing.
Yes.
Right. So
I
it's
also think hard selling, now that I do in the room sales, so interesting. It's like, oh, that's just the problem with their own resistance.
Exactly.
With being sold to, or the worthiness piece to actually hold the stretch and the tension of moving the needle.
So there's a couple of things, right? So number one, like we know the objections to selling, right? It's I don't have enough money.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in the room and they don't know how much money they have, well, then they have a problem and they need to invest. And they need to invest because presumably what you do, like I know what you do, it can help them make money. So if they don't have enough money, they should invest. The next problem is, I don't know if it'll work for me. Well, I don't know. You and I both have a lot of proof that what we do works for people. So if they don't think it'll work for them, then they should invest, right? The next one is, I don't have enough time. Well, if they don't have enough time, it's probably because they're going to a job. And if they want more time, then they should invest because you can teach them how to create a business their own way and run it their way.
Yeah, that's great.
So the thing is that if they are unaware of that, then what they're really feeling is not any resistance to you or even anger to you, because a lot of people didn't like the way I sold, but it was actually that they didn't know whether they could do it. Right? It's that it's not I don't believe you, it's I don't believe that I myself will actually do the work to do the thing to make it happen. And so they're sitting there in this internal pressure cooker of, do I actually value myself to spend this money? Yes, I want to spend the money, but what if I don't do it? What if it doesn't work for me? But really what they're saying, and this is the unconscious program underlying it all, is I actually don't know whether I'll do the thing because I'm too fucking scared.
I believe they don't have self-trust.
Yeah, there's no trust in self.
If you trusted yourself,
and they're seeking trust out. They're seeking trust
things
outside themselves. So they're looking at you or me and going, "Can I trust them?"
Yes.
But that's not the right question.
It's like
the right question is, can I trust myself?
Yeah.
In order to utilize whatever they give me when I pay.
Yeah.
And so that hard selling thing, like if I look back to the type of person you were then and you think it was hard, you probably sell just as harshly now yourself without and it's just the mindset of what the experience was at the time. Because the experience now, like someone the other day said to me, well, I'll give you that if you give me another 20 grand. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I just threw the money at them. And in the past, if someone had said, do you want to pay 20 grand for this one extra little piece of information? I would have been like, what? No, that's a car or a house deposit.
Yeah.
And it's all about how you look at money. So the resistance piece is felt in self, the lack of self-trust. As soon as you start trusting yourself, you never feel like that in a room. But they don't know that.
They don't know
They don't know that. They sit there and they're exactly the way that you or I was back then. And they go, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like I remember going to the very first Tony Robbins event and there were people investing $25,000 into Platinum Partnership, which was like hang out with Tony for 6 months.
I'm assuming that's 25K USD.
USD, yeah, at the time. It's a lot more now. But at the time I was like, oh, what?
Oh,
how do people do that?
Yeah, fucking absolutely.
And now dropping 100K on something is like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And it's just, I remember you would have the the evolution or the time the diagram of I can't remember what your highest program was back then.
I think it was Sempiternity.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it. And I remember looking at the people who were investing and I was like, how do you have
$30,000?
Yeah.
Which is what it was then.
Yeah. And now it's like, oh, that's just another month.
And yet you know that in that particular cohort that was in your group, every single one of them is successful now. In their own way, whatever they're doing.
There is, yeah.
That $30,000 is now nothing to them.
What do you think is the time frame average
of
when people come into your room to when they're it's hard to say like peaking, but
Yeah,
successful.
so like there are some people that are well known on the Gold Coast that it took them between 7 and 9 months to get to millionaire status,
yeah.
right? And that's really possible if you have a network and you've been talking to the network about mindset or whatever your thing is that you want to sell. If you've been talking about that to them for 6 months, then it'll take you roughly 6 to 10 months to hit it. If you have a network. If you have no network at all and you're starting right from scratch and you've never talked about it before, you can hit 10K within about 6 weeks. If you do the thing.
Fuck. Well, I
If you
took a while,
don't-
didn't I?
If you don't do the thing, then it might take years.
Yeah.
Because for some people, like, you know, your frames, they were cute. You were making a little bit of money. Like, I knew you could do it, but you had to know you could do it. You had to be ready to face yourself. And, you know, a lot of people go to a personal development event to get personal development. Run a business if you want personal development. Because running a business will face you off with yourself so many times, over and over and over. You have to pull from deep within and go, okay, we'll go again. Like, you know, oh my God, what do you mean there's no one coming? There's no one coming. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. How do we get them to come? Let's
Yes.
try something new.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yes, the journey.
you know, it's an evolution of self. And I think when people are sitting in those rooms wondering whether they should invest or not, my advice is always going to be invest, whether it's my room or anyone else's room, even if it's a terrible room, like invest because you'll learn something. Like the current, you know, what used to be Sempaternity is now called Amplify, and Katie and I run it together. And the investment for that is $35,000 for 6 months. Now, there are people who work hard and they make that investment back in the first month. There's people who 2 months in get every goal that they set for the whole 6 months, and then they just get to have fun and create new goals. That's great. And there are some people who, like there's one girl in particular who's in that container right now who fluffed around, did not a lot for 5 months, and now it's her last month. And she's like, okay, I recognize that I've done nothing. So what do I do now? And I'm like, you make enough money to stay in the container so that you can actually get it done. And she goes, how do I do that? And I gave her a list and I said, if you miss one thing on this list, it will not work. I'm like, you have to do it exactly as I'm telling you to do it or it will not work. So go do it. And yesterday she's like, I'm ready to reinvest. I'm like, great.
Fuck.
You know, because she hit it and she went over it. You
Fuck,
know,
that's
and,
great.
and also sometimes people, they need all those identity shifts first. So the first 6 months might just be actually working. Like there's 2 people who've been in that container that have just rolled over to their second lot because that first 6 months was all about personal
Identity.
stuff. And they didn't feel like they could start until the personal stuff was done. And that's a choice, like, you know, and so they get to do that if that's what they want to do. However, the value in that has led them to reinvest. So the thing is whether it moves fast or slowly, as long as you can see progress and you know that it's going to work, like I think getting to the point where you've got absolute certainty that it will work is the point you need to get someone to. Whether or not that happens within the 6 months or whether it happens 3 months later. So on average, success usually for most people, they'll feel it and have some kind of tangible version of it within a year of doing our training and then potentially working with us, whichever way it is. And I think when I say that, I'm talking about actual success, not I did 110K month and then died.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about consistency.
Yes. Consistent, evolving
Yeah.
success, that is. Yeah.
I think a 10K month is kind of like that. It's that first, oh, maybe I can do it.
Yes.
But if they don't hit it the second month, they go, oh, maybe I can't.
And I feel like I can't really like relate to that because I feel like the distance between launching or starting to do online business because I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. I was just like, I'm just going to try this thing. And, you know, going off and doing something and then coming back and then trying something new and then coming back. Even though that whole time where I wasn't hitting that 10K month milestone, I was still like
you were still doing
reprogramming my
something.
mind.
Yeah.
I was still doing shit.
Yeah.
And then by the time I actually hit it, even though it was like, say, I think it was like 2 years from when I actually first did NLP to when I actually started making money.
Yeah.
I hit that first 10K month. And because I had been reprogramming my subconscious mind for that whole entire period, even though I wasn't hitting it. I was like, I can do this. By the time it came around, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is just normal. And
this
then
is exactly what I was supposed to be doing.
It was just like 10K, 15, 30, like, and it just naturally evolved. And then it kind of got to a point where I was like, oh, we're doing like 30 to 50K cash months now. And because the time frame between when I was like, oh yeah, I'm manifesting 10Ks for so long, I normalized that, I regulated that, and that felt fine. It was easy for me to hold that. But then once the number, like the dollar amount started getting up, I was like, oh, I've actually got to start to really expand and regulate higher cash months, especially moving towards 7 figures as well.
Yeah.
So I can actually hold that instead of just going like hitting it and being like, oh, fuck, like,
yeah, which
holy
is what
shit, how do I
happened
hold this in my body?
Yeah, I think that your nervous system regulation is essential for being able to hold large amounts.
Yeah.
So like month of July, we did 780K, right, this year. And that's cash, not sales. And I think that's the other thing is if you're out there listening to this and you're thinking, what are these numbers they're talking about? Can you please clarify if you're listening to anyone, whether it is cash in bank or sales? Because sales are easy. Like sales is actually easy. Collecting the cash is not as easy. And so a lot of people talk about sales and that's not it. That's not where the money really is. The money is in cash collected.
I used to talk about sales, but then I was like, oh, hang on a minute. This is actual.
Let's talk about real money that's really in the bank.
Yeah.
Or wherever you put it. The thing is that level of awareness that you have to be able to hold those kinds of months and those kinds of years is huge because the responsibility is huge. Right? You're earning more than what a first-time home buyer is spending on their house in 1 month.
Yeah.
Like that's wild. Yeah. And you're looking around and you're going, okay, cool. Well, what do I actually want to do with this? And this is where for me, the passion and that ignition of success, that becoming the version of you that can hold it, there's a give back required. And like, I truly believe in the give back. Simon and I live a relatively simple life. Like I have a nice car. I have a house where I want the house. It's currently being renovated. We travel when we want to, and I do have nice jewelry. But most of the time, most of our money goes back into helping people who actually need help. Into, like recently we were in Fiji, buying computers, buying phones to help people in Fiji start businesses. Like, giving back to Indigenous communities, like working out where the need is actually and giving back. And I think that, if you look at Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, you got certainty, uncertainty.
I was literally just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
It's been a thread for like weeks. I've been talking about the 6 human needs. I don't know, probably because you've been in my field.
You have to do the growth until you can get to contribution. And contribution, and when you can contribute in a big way that creates big impact, is the most beautiful thing. Like it's so rewarding to be able to do that, and equally rewarding to be able to earn enough money to support the families that are in your teams. Like, the people who are in your closest world that are in your team. Like right now we've got an 18-month-old in our business. That's my grandson. We've also got
all the reels that you put up with him is so cute.
We got Hannah's little baby. So our CFO's just had a baby. He's 8 weeks old. Yeah. Jack and Jenna are about to have another baby at the time we were recording this. So like that baby's there. In the actual wider community of students, there's so many babies right now. And I think the beauty of me having been a nurse and a midwife before I did all this is that I get to see them all when they're little. Like people who haven't called me for years that came in the training, like when you were doing the training, like they've just had a baby and it's like, Liz, can you come over and help because I don't know what we're doing. And I get to just be that person who gives because I love it, and I don't have to worry about selling them or doing any of that stuff. And when I say worry about it, it just gets to be non-transactional, it's just a give back. And I think there needs to be a level of transaction. That's what business is. Like business, the purpose of business is to make money. The mission behind a business is very different.
The contribution.
Yeah.
The impact. Yeah. The giving, the receiving.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
And being here.
Yeah.
It's been beautiful to connect, reflect, journey, question.
It's fun.
And yes, I'm just very grateful for your time on the podcast here.
Oh, thanks, Candy.
where can those who are listening who don't know who you are, where can they find you?
Oh my goodness. So recently we've just started blowing up on TikTok. Crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
actually
we went from nothing to 5,000 followers in like 2 days. So that was fun.
Isn't it random when that happens? You're like, what the fuck?
It's like, what did I do different? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. No, Instagram, Elizabeth Ann Walker underscore
and that,
EAWTC.
Like, your Instagram page has also been growing.
Yeah, it's
quite a lot.
decent. It's like around, I don't know, 64,000 or something.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, wow, that's growing a lot.
Yeah.
Great. We love that.
So yeah, there, TikTok. You can actually just message me on Facebook even. Someone eventually will look at that message. Facebook's probably the platform we use the least. Like, is that even a thing? You can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm kind of everywhere.
Yeah, EAWTC.
Yeah, Elizabeth Ann Walker is
Amazing.
really where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, beautiful souls, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. Bye.